Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Weight of It podcast. It's me, the real Rose, aka Rose. I still haven't figured out this intro. I'm so sorry. Y'all just gonna have to work with me. But yeah, today's a solo episode, and I might do a few solo episodes because I actually have quite a lot to say, and I'm feeling quite confident right now, so I kind of wanna run with it. But yeah, today's episode is titled "The Weight of Becoming," aka the messy middle. As always, whenever I want to talk about a topic, is usually because it reflects where what I'm going through, what I'm reflecting on, where I'm at, and all the rest of it. And I just feel like the messy middle is just the best way to describe where I'm at. Um, and I think also I've just been seeing a little bit of conversations online and also with my friends, and I just think, yeah, messy middle is given, yeah, my 30s. So you will see me going on my phone because I wrote some notes and I don't want to miss out on anything important. But yeah, I would say when I'm talking about the messy middle, I'm talking about the stage of, you know, where you want to be. You're not where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be. So there, I feel like I'm consistently bouncing between gratitude, contentment, and unfulfilled ambition. And I feel like I dance along those three posts every single day because I have moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God I don't do this one anymore. I don't have a desire for that, or I'm out of this position, or I'm not friends with this person, or like whatever it may be. So grateful. Then I have moments where I'm so content. I'm like, wow, I just really love it here. I really love the people around me. I love the fact that I've got this. I love the fact that I can go there. I love the fact that I can think like this, or I have the knowledge of this. Fantastic. And then I have the unfulfilled ambition of, this still hasn't happened, or I'm so close but it's not materialized. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me. They haven't replied to my email. This is my 100th attempt at this and it's still not working out, or so on and so forth. And I just feel like when you're dancing along those three posts, I don't know why I keep saying posts, but we're going to use posts for the sake of this illustration. When you're dancing along those three posts, if there's one thing that you experience, it is fatigue. It is fatigue. Because if somebody was to ask you how you are, depending on what kind of day you catch me on, if I'm on a day where I'm feeling content, I'm gonna tell you life is good. God is good. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. I am blessed. I am fulfilled. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah, you're gonna get that answer. If you ask me on a day where I'm grateful, oh yeah, no, things are so good. I'm so happy that I don't work there anymore. I'm so happy that this didn't work, that didn't work out. I'm so happy that I'm able to see that this is the route I'm supposed to be on, a blah blah blah. But then if you catch me on a day where I'm experiencing unfulfilled ambition, I am literally going to be like, life is life. And I think that's what I find so funny about the messy middle, because I don't think I'm ever fixed to one post. I think even if I'm completely honest, in one day I can experience all three seasons, all three posts, because I think that is part of becoming. I don't feel like I'm in a wilderness season anymore. I feel like I'm approaching the promised land, and I think I'm experiencing movement. So I'm approaching it so I can see it. And I'm grateful that I've come out of where I was and I'm on the way to the promised land. But this journey of becoming, this journey of arriving, this journey of getting there is so unique. It's so unique. And I think this is the part that you never really imagine, because I think as humans, we just imagine the two. Like coming out of, when you think about coming out of a wilderness season, you don't think of the journey getting to the promised land. You just think, I'm coming out of it and I go directly into the promised land. So if I use just a very common example, if you have a really bad car that doesn't work that well, and you're like praying, you're hoping for a new car, When you're hoping and praying for a new car, you just imagine that next season of having a car as being this nice new car. You're not thinking about the process of selling the car, listing the car, waiting for someone to buy the car, then searching for a new dealership to buy your new car after you've sold the old car, waiting for the money to drop from the car that you've just sold, then going through the paperwork of getting the new car. You don't think about that process. It's like buying a house. You could be living in one house, you want a bigger house. Your dream or visions are just about having that bigger house, and that is great. But then you don't think about the process of packing your stuff up. You don't think about the process of booking delivery guys to come and take your stuff and deliver it to your new place. You're not thinking of changing your address on all your bills. You're not thinking of the process of having to text all your friends and family and be like, hey, I've got a new address. That whole process of renovating your new place, you don't see that. You just dream of the new house. And I think that's where I think I'm at, where I was somewhere where I was in a season where I was praying for something, praying for all these things, and I think the things I prayed for I can really see them. I think they're really just there. But I think I'm in the removal van. So I am literally driving down the M25 trying to get to the house that I've just bought. That's what it feels like. I'm on the way, but I've got to do all this life admin. I've got to do all these tasks, all these tasks that almost feel never ending, but if you don't do it, it will jeopardize the experience you have in this new thing. And I feel like that was, I don't understand. I hope that example made sense to somebody, but that's literally how I process it in my brain. It just feels like if I don't do this thing, if I don't sit through this process, and not to say you're just like, I'm lying down and I'm just like, this is where I'm at, this is all I have to do. No, it's you're in, there's momentum, that you're moving, you're doing things, but it's just like, another one again. Yeah, that is what the messy middle looks like for me. I think the fact that I can put a name to it and calling it the messy middle or the weight of becoming, sometimes it does help me process it, because then I can just think, okay, Rose, no, like, you have prayed for certain things, but I just thought the house would just drop in front of me, or the car would just drop in front of me, or the husband would just drop in front of me. Whatever these things are, of course, I'm just using very like obvious societal tick boxes to illustrate this example. For you, it could be a new job, it could be rekindling a relationship with a loved one, it could be your health, it could be your finance, it could be whatever it is. But I just think sometimes we can only envision us enjoying the fruits of the thing, as opposed to the work that's required to steward and acquire it. And whilst God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask, think, or imagine, I think there are moments where, yeah, heavy on the more than we can imagine, because I just never imagined the becoming. Never imagined. Like, if I think back to a few years ago when I moved out, I was so adamant I was going to move out, and I did. I was just so fixated on I was going to move out. But then when the time came to move out and I moved out, guys, I hadn't thought about the fact that I had to buy a sofa. I hadn't thought about it. Where was I going to sit? I literally, all I could see was the apartment, the kitchen, the new build kitchen, the new build bathroom. That's all I had my mind fixed on. I move in, it's unfurnished, which I knew. But I just remember the first night being like, oh, I need to make this bed. Like, I need to actually assemble the bed. And then I had to wait for my mattress. Then I had to put the mattress on the bed. Then I had to order my sofa. And the vision that I had, although I was now in the house, in the flat that I'd been really, really, really wanting, it still didn't quite look like what I thought it would look like, because I was still in the messy middle. I was still in that process of, doing what needed to be done. Do you know what I mean? To acquire the thing. So I just feel like that's how I feel I am in this season of my life. So it's not bad. And I don't want to lie and say it's not good, because I think it is good, actually. I just think it's the part that you so easily forget as a human, that there's always a process. You can never skip the process. Never. Even if I think about running Huddle with my co-founders, there are so many amazing things that's happening, but there's a process we cannot skip, and that is building the business. So yes, we want to, raise this amount and exit for this amount and blah, blah, blah. And I believe all of that stuff's going to happen. But the season we're in, and the season we're in, could easily take us years. It could take us years, or it could take us months. Who knows? But the work has to be done. You cannot skip that process. And I just think so much as the tension of the messy middle is us having to contend with the fact that there is a process that we cannot skip. You can even assume that people have skipped it because of what you see on social media, and seeing all the highlights and the show reels of what everybody's doing. But no matter what you were seeing on social media, I can only speak for the things that are true. Whether it's somebody has started a new family, whether somebody's relocated, they've got a new house, they've got married, there is a process that they could not skip. And if you do skip, it will always show in the fruits that you do not bear. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like that's what this I only want this to be 20 minutes, so damn, 12 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go. Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm experiencing at the moment. Some things that I think have helped me reckon with this messy middle. Let me get it up, because I think I might just name one. Oh yeah, no, two main things. Number one, being honest. One thing my friend told me many years ago, and I just genuinely live by it, is you don't have to be performative. You don't have to be performative to your friends, to your family, and most importantly to God. He's not intimidated by the fact that you feel annoyed at being in the messy middle, or the fact that it's like, oh my gosh, God, I can't lie, how many emails do I have to send them, or how many job applications are going to reject me, or whatever the thing is that their unfulfilled ambition, whatever that is. God is not intimidated by your distress or your frustration or your anger. And I think there'll be times where I'd go to God in prayer, and I'm like, God, I just want to say, like, I love you. You're the Father of all fathers. You're the King of Kings, my Alpha and Omega. And, I'm so grateful that I've got this, I've got this, I've got that. And, I kind of would want this, and I kind of want that. But, I understand everything's going to happen in your timing. Girl, be for real. God, I'm pissed. Why is this taking so long? Hello? Have you forgotten me? Yeah, I thought those prayers are a lot more effective, because we don't have to do all this pizzazz and this performance. I think my pastor always says that you can still be respectful, but I don't think that necessarily means that you have to pretend. Do you know what I mean? And I think being honest about how I'm feeling in the messy middle, especially those moments of unfulfilled ambition, or feeling like something is taking so long, or feeling like things are being delayed, and all these things, whilst how I'm feeling might not be true, because we know that feelings are not facts, it doesn't mean I cannot express the feelings that I am having. And I think being honest has truly helped me, because I can literally just be walking and I just be talking to God. I just be having a conversation like, I can't lie, that rubbed me up the wrong way, or I really thought this was going to be it. Like, I felt like they had this whole opportunity, the way they were contacting me, the way they were speaking to me, the provision that they had made around me. I thought this was going to be the one, and it didn't work. I'm like, God, what was the reason? And sometimes I'm like, God, I know everything works according to my good, and da da da. I know, but it's not giving that it's working for my good. Who's good is it even working for at this point? Do you know what I mean? But guys, I cannot express, but there's a lightness that I feel after I get it off my chest. And I do think it is a peace that surpasses all understanding. And I also don't want to lie that each time I'm honest in my prayer life like that I just automatically feel like, oh yay, kumbaya. No, sometimes I'm still mad for a second, but I think it's just literally living out the scripture that says cast your burdens onto him. So it's not for me to carry that load, because I still need to live. I still need to get through the day. You know what I mean? So why did I say you know what I mean in that way? That sounded weird. But yeah, I think that's a massive thing that has helped me navigate the messy middle. Being honest about the fact it's being honest about the fact that it feels like I'm in the wilderness, even though I kind of know I'm not. And just putting language to it. And when I don't have language to explain how I'm feeling, it's just like, God, help. Or sometimes I literally just say Jesus, and that is all I've got to offer. And in moments when I don't have that, I will call a friend, like literally call a friend and be like, can you pray for me? I need prayer around this topic, or or sometimes I'll just go to church and I'll just sit there and cry. Like, whatever it is, I just feel like my honesty has opened so many doors of, whether it's breakthrough, provision, comfort, whatever it may be. I just feel it's always come from me being honest with myself, with those around me, and most importantly with God. So that is a massive tip that I would give. And then my second tip is dreaming. Ooh, this is one that I felt heavy in January when I was doing my I did a prayer and fast for the month of January for my church. The dreaming one was big. I felt God very clearly reminded me that I need to dream. And I think what had happened is, and guys, historically, I am a dreamer by nature. I truly think that is like one of the things God has given me. And not just dreaming like as in at night I dream, as in like I can just see into, like, it's like I can just see my future. Not necessarily like, who's in the future, all these things. I'm not talking about in that way, but like I just know I'm destined for like something big. I just know it. I've just always had a feeling about it. And that's always led the way in which I work and the way I do things and the way I strive for excellence. The season of the messy middle absolutely silenced that part of me, to the point I started dreaming to the level that I was at. So I said that the messy middle, there's moments of contentment because I'm not where I used to be, and that I'm happy where I'm at now, and gratitude for the fact that I'm not where I used to be, and then the unfulfilled ambition. So I was now just actually accepting that where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be, and whilst that is true to a degree, it doesn't mean that's where my dreams are supposed to live. Do you know what I mean? I think you have to really discern that. I think you are always where you're supposed to be to a degree, but I don't think your ambition has to bow down to that stage. I think your ambition is always supposed to be above you and further ahead of you, but hence why you're supposed to aim there. That's my opinion. But I think a lot of the way that I used to dream, and the fact that I thought like, oh, I can do this, or I can go there, or whatever. I think because back in the day before finding Christ, so much of that was self-centered and based in me being conceited or selfish ambition and all those things. So I think when I found Christ, I think where I got rid of, quote unquote, got rid of a lot of that, I think I almost started to see that stuff as just like worldly, and I forgot that actually when you're dreaming and you're doing things for the kingdom, it's not a sin. It's not a bad thing. I think the thing is, before I would just be doing it for just selfish reasons. So God really reminded me to just dream big, guys, to the point that I couldn't even dream of basic things that I used to be able to dream about, like just getting a new car. Like I just couldn't think of that anymore. It was so foreign. And then I just felt God reminding me, like, dream again. And then I found my old journals where I used to write so many of my dreams, or so many of the things I want to achieve in this life, and all these big goals. And sometimes like I got to a point where I was scared of having big goals in case God wouldn't meet it, forgetting that it says that he does exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask, more than we can think, and more than we can imagine. So he's not intimidated by our goals list. It's us that hold on to our goals and idolize our goals and worship our goals, and then when we don't meet those goals, we're now then mad at God. But he said he can do exceedingly and abundantly more. So I can write a little 1-2 line on the paper, and God's like, that's cute. I can either meet you at that, or I can go above and beyond that. Do you know what I mean? So I think one of the things I would truly, truly, truly advise is you keep dreaming. You hold onto the vision, you hold onto the promise, you hold onto the dream. Because while the messy middle can be messy, and it can be tiring, and it can be full of weariness and concerns and worries and anxieties and all these things, the promise, the dream, and the vision is still very much alive. And it's so important that you don't let your current environment dictate the way you see. Because the Bible even says we walk by faith and not by sight. Therefore, I'm not supposed to walk and live my life thinking that what I see is all it will be. I'm supposed to live my life believing that the dream, the promise, and the vision that has been given to me is what actually is. Because if God is in the future, he's in the present, and he's in the past, he's already there. Therefore, Rose of 2030, that I have dreams she's supposed to be doing this, living there, she's already there. Like, she's literally having a fantastic time over there. We just haven't caught up. We just haven't caught up yet. So, and because of that, there's certain things I need to do right now to ensure that I just make it that little bit easier for her over there. And that's something I tell myself, like, Rose, make it easier for yourself in the future. She is over there hoping that there's certain things she doesn't have to keep doing because you didn't sort it out now. You didn't deal with it now, so she's still having to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like, really, really double down on your dreaming, your visions, your prayer list, gratitude list, whatever it is. Like, I even had to, was it like 2 weeks ago? I had to do another vision board. I hadn't done a vision board in 2 years. I said, after, like, I was convicted about the whole dreaming thing, I was like, let me have a vision board. And it's literally on my phone cover and I see it every day. And it's just like, okay, there are things here that there was a time I used to think, like, yeah, I'm going to sell this many waist trainers and I'm going to make 3,100 million pounds, and I'm going to be able to buy this, buy that. And now I have these things on my vision board. Guys, I have no clue how I'm going to achieve these things. And I think that is when God does his best work, when we truly have no idea. There's obvious things that, I know obviously it's going to require money. I'm not a thief. I know the money will come off the back of, like, working, but I have no idea how I'm going to acquire these things. And I think that is also the beauty of the messy middle, that in that mess, God can really bless the whole situation and just turn it around. So even as I look at my vision board, as I'm wrapping up this episode, I'm excited. And I'm looking forward to the surprise of how these things are going to show up. But I have faith that they are going to show up because I'm forcing myself to stand on the vision, to stand on the dreams, to stand on the promises. And I implore you guys to do the same, because the messy middle isn't supposed to dull your vision. It's not supposed to make you think that you've been dreaming too big, or, just come down to earth, come back to reality. No. The messy middle is to propel you to live the reality of the dreams that you've had. So I just remember that in this season of becoming, you don't have to settle. You don't have to just accept that, okay, this is all it's going to be. No. Be excited, keep dreaming, keep writing down your goals, your prayers, all of these things. Like, don't feel like because they're not happening in the way you think they're supposed to happen, or in the timeline it's supposed to happen, that it's not going to happen. So yeah, don't feel tempted to shrink, to play it small, to settle. Even in the messy middle, things can still happen, things can still move, things can still shake, and I'm literally a living testimony of that. And sometimes you just have to work with what you've got. You've just got to work with where you're at, but don't ever feel like that is the best to come. I found myself only dreaming to the level of my reality, and I just think it's so important to remember to not settle, to not believe that this is as good as it can get in the messy middle. The messy middle is a process, it's not punishment. I used to always think I was being punished and scorned for something, but sometimes it's just part of the process. There were so many characters in the Bible, they just had to go through a messy middle, and some of the messy middles were like 40 years. If you think about the Israelites, that was a 40-year bird they had to serve. Like, that was a long time. And sometimes it might not be 4 months, it might be 4 years for us. Who knows, guys? But I just also truly do believe that the God I serve doesn't just do stuff just for vibes, like just kind of like, oh, why not? No, I think the messy middle is to grow us, and most importantly, prepare us for the thing that you are praying for. If there's one thing I've even just started to see a little bit in my life, is there's certain things that have started to happen, which I think I will talk about in a future episode, that it's like things I've prayed for, but now it's happening, and it's just like, oh, okay, I need to be ready for this. And I think that is the beauty of the messy middle. You have an opportunity to prepare because you know for a fact that the ambition will be fulfilled, that God is going to meet you on the other side, and he's also with you right now. So I think use the opportunity to prepare for the opportunity that is on the way, in whatever way that looks like for you. And whilst the weight of becoming can be heavy, you can also be gentle with yourself in this process. Be honest, dream big, hold on to the faith, keep the faith. Don't allow yourself to reduce your visions, your dreams, your abilities, your skills to the season and the environment around you. You could be literally living in a box room and you're having visions of living in like a 5-bedroom house. Don't now start preparing your life for this box room because the 5-bedroom house is on the way. Do you know what I mean? So really just keep believing. Keep believing. Keep believing. And like I said, if we keep it a buck, scripture says we cannot please God without faith. So I actually think this is the best time to really believe in what you cannot see. And do not let your eyes confuse you. Do not let your eyes confuse you into believing this is all it's ever going to be, because you will be surprised at what God can do. Give God just a minute. Give him a second. Give him a day. Give him a month. Give him a week. Give him a year. He will do what he needs to do at the appropriate time. So yeah, guys, that is me on the weight of becoming. Try to focus on the input. Don't become so attached to the outcomes of things. Things will happen when they're supposed to happen, and when they happen, you'll be so grateful that it's happened. And I'm speaking to myself as well, guys, by the way. I'm not here to say that I've mastered this, but these are the things that have helped quite a bit. Yeah, I guess my final comment is that I might be in the messy middle with you guys, but I'm not giving up on who I'm becoming, because child, at this point I've given too much time to this process. But all jokes aside, I'm excited to see how surprised I can be, and just what's to come, who I become in this process as well, and what's ahead. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little sit down. It's a lot shorter, but yeah, this was just something that was on my mind, so I just thought I'd share it. I think I'm only going to post this on the Weight of It podcast, or maybe I'll post it on my personal YouTube page as well. Maybe I'll do both. But yeah, let me know how you're finding this. If you're in the same season and you resonate, let me know in the comments. If you relate to anything I've said, it's always great to speak to you guys as well. DM me, follow me at The Real Rose and at The Weight of It. And yeah, I hope that the messy middle is good to you, and I hope you get out of it. And I hope you enter that promised land ASAP, because that's what I'm trying to do, ASAP. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I shall talk with you guys soon. Bye.